As NBA fans, there's a lot we don't know about NBA coaching, and there's a lot we don't know about set plays and what they're called. Well, today I'm here to close that gap a bit by breaking down a simple play nearly every team runs, most commonly called away. Away is a secondary break play teams will run usually after a made basket or a dead ball to begin a possession. So let's get to how it works. So the offense comes down, the 1 will have it high on a side, and the 2 and the 3 will be in the corners, and they're pretty interchangeable. Most often, it's the 4 on the opposite wing, and the 5 is on top. Then, the base play is a double stagger screen for 2, and here Ross comes off the screens and takes a tough 3. This is a play the offense can run without slowing down too much, and here when the defender gets hammered by both screens, he ends up fouling the shooter. So far, we've been looking at plays where the defense is defending the screens with lock and trail, which is when the defender attaches himself to the hip and chases the shooter over the screens. And here Ingram takes away the 3, but Hardaway nicely curls to the rim to create a play. Now most of the time, the wing won't get a shot right off the screens, but the 2 screens can still put the defense in a tough spot. Here for instance, notice how Jackson gets around the screens fine, but now is a bit separated from Ferguson, so Adams sets an immediate ball screen while Ferguson has the advantage. And the good teams can flow freely from action to action. So here Luka isn't open off the stagger screens, but the Mavs hit the 5, and now they're in their spread pick and roll attack with proper spacing. The players can also get creative. For example, here Iwundu, not being a good shooter, opts to curl the first screen and then screen for Fournier, who gets a good look off of the curl. So away isn't automatically a double stagger screen. It can be a bit of a tango with the first 2 players to try to confuse the defense while using the 5 as the screener. And this was smart. The Heat are in the away alignment, but Duncan Robinson finds himself on the wing. So instead of screening for Leonard, he uses Bam's screen right away to get a good look. And that's just a good job of not being too rigid as a player. I also like when the point guard looks to attack on top. Here, notice how the screens completely occupy the rim protector Robinson, and he has his head turned. So Satoransky takes advantage of the movement by driving, Robinson is late coming over, and it's a foul. So the drive can be effective due to the occupied help defenders and also because the play creates space. It takes bodies away from the rim. And look at the huge gap Jackson has to attack on the right side. Now the ball handler still has to be able to take his man, which here Jackson does with a crossover. And put someone like Ben Simmons at point, and now the defense has a real problem. We can see why this play is so popular. It's simple, quick, and it can free up a scorer. But I hope I'm not making it out to be some unstoppable play, because it's not. And one reason is because defenses can use top lock to counter the play. So here the Bulls run away, and Thibault positions himself between Kobe White and the screens. This is top lock. Here it's well executed, and now White can't use the screens. He has to go under. This blows up the stagger action, and the Sixers eventually get a steal. And when we watch the play again, notice how the center Horford sags back off of Felicio to protect against the backdoor cut, which would be a very tough pass to complete anyways. And because away is so commonly run around the league, it's usually not difficult to top lock when you need to against a good shooter. Here the Bucks top lock Korkmaz, who cuts, then Harris will use the pin down, which the Bucks easily contain, all without switching. And some teams will get super aggressive with top lock. For instance, here the Clippers have Beverly top lock the first screen, and Kawhi will top lock Wiggins. Here they can be aggressive with this because Zubac is guarding a non-shooter and protecting the rim, and if you have the defensive intelligence to execute that, it certainly can disrupt an offense. But from an offensive perspective, top lock can be just a small roadblock. Here Bryn Forbes is being top locked, but he doesn't force it and takes what the defense is giving him and cuts. The ball is quickly swung to Lyles, and they get into a high post split with good pace. No big deal. Now overall, if the defense can anticipate and perform top lock, it's a great way to defend away. The backdoor cut rarely results in a layup, and there's a clear benefit of taking away the double screen. Block and trail is effective too, but defensively you put yourself at a greater risk to give up something like this. Moving on, and what's always interesting about popular plays is how some teams run them differently from others. Maybe it's a variation in the set, or maybe it's how a certain player influences the set. So let's look at some player and team specific variations. A good place to start is in Orlando. During away, they place a great emphasis on getting Vucevic the ball for a 3. So here Fournier curls the screens, Mahinmi tags him, and this opens up Vuce popping out. We've talked about how the defensive center often likes to sag back, so I give the Magic credit for looking to exploit that with Vuce, and they look to hit Vuce here more than other teams who have 3-point shooting centers. Now the reason teams leave Vuce open is because he's only shooting 33% from 3, so this hasn't been overly effective for them, but the respect he gains as a shooter helps here. His defender stays close enough to him to allow Ross to curl into an open lane and score. That's the value of a stretch 5 during away and in general. And also, I wanted to share this play. Fournier is being top locked, but instead of running towards the ball, he sets a pin-in screen on Vucevic's defender. Vuce pops out, and this is good action to free up a stretch big. Next, let's talk about Chicago, because they run this play a bit differently. First, on this play, they run away, and since Valentine is open on the curl, notice how they'll of course pass it to him. But otherwise, they instead flow into what I've seen called away touch, and here's a good example. Off the double screen, the 2 will immediately pitch it back to the point guard, who gets a ball screen from the center. This is a solid way to get into a pick and roll early in the shot clock, and here we see Levine is an effective decoy. From what I've seen, the Bulls run away touch most frequently, but plenty of other teams will mix it in too, and here the Nets run it. Good defense by the Jazz to stay solid here, and it's an illegal pick. Sticking with the Bulls, I was enamored by the chemistry Satoransky and Levine have with this play. Check this out. They're setting up away, Sato is the point guard, and Levine is in the strong side corner, typically the least active spot. But look how Sato dribbles at Levine, who cuts backdoor for a layup. The Bulls get this backdoor every few games, and it's always with Sato passing to Levine, and it's not after a timeout, so I would guess this is just a wink-wink hookup. Notice the change of speed here. Sato slowly brings it up, and then boom, he speeds into the backdoor before the defense can react. Satoransky is so smart, and he's one of the only players who consistently plays the strong side during away. Finding the scorer can work, but occasionally giving the defense an unexpected jolt is very effective. One more clip. Sato calls away, but little does the defense know he might just play the strong side by either taking it to the hole or hooking up with Levine. Well, there you have it guys. I hope you now understand some of the nuance behind one of the most popular plays in the league. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.